Hello and welcome to my third video where I'm going to talk in some more detail about the iPhone 12 Pro, the front Apple True Depth sensor and the Sony A7R 4, and we'll do some 3D scanning photogrammetry tests and compare them up. We'll be using the application Reality Capture from a company called Capturing Reality, which is a high-end photogrammetry program which offers a PPI based subscription where you pay for what images you process. In this video we'll go through some of the processing for the images and describe to you how much they cost at the end, and you can see the quality compared to some other scanning methods. So we decided to scan a shoe today. Not this shoe, but this horrible, awful shoe that a fox chewed up in my garden. And it proves to be quite an interesting object with a variety of textures. This is my high-end tripod. Please don't judge me too much for this, and if you want any information on where to get it from, contact me at the end of the video. So I started off with Scandi Pro again and the front camera True Depth at 0.5mm, about 4 minutes to do this rotation, and managed to capture nearly a full 360-degree pass, similar to the other methods. And here is the result of the True Depth in Blender. You can see some of the lines that have come in from it being on a slowly rotating turntable, but we have an almost complete model here. Not great detail, but it could be useful for a low resolution mesh. Here it is in Blender again, and those lines are out, but we have some of the details coming through quite well on the bottom there. Shoe's probably maybe 30 something centimeters long, so it is picking up some minor detail there. And then onto the iPhone, where we took 100 shots on the turntable again. And this is the example of the photos coming out of the iPhone 12. Good high resolution shots, bit of light creeping into it there, but generally good photogrammetry conditions, overcast. And this one's the A7R 4 with the 24 to 70mm G Master lens. It's a spectacular lens, getting some great detail on that image, and zooming in, some really good high-end information coming from that lens. 60 megapixel images, so very high to process. And for processing the images I use this software Reality Capture, which I talked about earlier, which has a quirky little interface and a console, and works very fast compared to Agisoft Metashape, which I used in the last video. Very easily laid out, great tutorial system, and you can texture and colorize, and there's options for exporting your model at the end, which the license I have, you will have to purchase credits, and they go by the size of the images that you're processing and how many images you process. And even has this 4D mode where you can export video, I assume. So they're in Reality Capture. I've got the Sony A7R 4 with the 2470 G Master lens, and we do have a lot of resolution there. I did this on the high setting as well. It took about 3.5 hours, just under 3.5 hours, and you can see it's masses of detail, 94 million polygon mesh, and it's got some very sharp detail there, maybe a little bit too sharp in places, and really it's up to you guys to judge and tell me what you think. Obviously longer processing time and more cost associated with this method. The texture, immaculate, very high resolution texture coming out of this that you could use for decent close-up shots. And again, not much retouch required. Remember, the underneath of the sole I didn't really get involved at this stage. I only had the device for about an hour each, and I just wanted to fire off some quick shots as close as possible in the same light. Took just 30 minutes to process, smaller mesh, cheaper to export, and 100 images. Perhaps what I could do next time is rescale the images and give another comparison based on megapixels times images. So here's me working with one of the models in ZBrush from the iPhone, where I've retopologized, given it nice clean polygons, and cleaned up very minimally inside the shoe a little bit. I could spend a bit of time on this, but a quick cleanup, and this could be used as a low poly asset. Here's got 54,000 points, and a nice little mesh just to use or using renderings or games or something like that. Quite easily made, and its own a separate texture map now, UV'd, not very well, but automatically in the ZBrush system, ready to export a games engine, for example, like Unreal. Here's one I made earlier, and something I could talk about in one of my future tutorials, how to use these in this case as something to throw at our wonderful Prime Minister in a game that I've developed. Put some ammo in there, a little timer, some score, and there you go. About as much fun as I'm going to be having during the lockdown. Thanks guys, subscribe and let me know if there's anything else you'd like to see, because I've got lots of ideas for other videos, and thanks for watching. Cheers.